story is truly inspirational. It is amazing what you have accomplished in these last 10 years with you and the volunteers. So my hat is off to you. I'm very impressed. So, family, you should be very proud of him. Now, I thought that I would just take a couple minutes to talk a little bit about what it is that we do and really try to convey how what we do does matter and use a real life example of what's going on right now, just so you really understand what this is all about. And the subject, which is going on right now, is food aid reform. It's the #1 priority for the Borgen project right now. And let me just take a minute to just kind of frame what the problem is with food aid reform and what we're trying to do about it. So today, if there is a desire for the U.S. government to give food aid somewhere around the world, what we do is we buy food from U.S. farmers, we put it on U.S. flagged vessels, and we ship it to the appropriate part of the world. And if you think about that, it's not a real efficient or cost-effective way of distributing food to those in need. I mean, a good analogy would be if you had a brother on the other side of the country, and the family's down there in luck, and they need a week's worth of groceries. Are you going to go to your local supermarket and buy a big box of stuff, and then take that big box to the UPS and give it to UPS and ship it across the U.S.? Probably not. You're probably going to wire them money so you don't have to pay the shipping, and they'll get the food quicker. Well, it's the same thing with food aid. So a few months ago, Obama had recommended that there be a change to the way food aid is distributed. There was an amendment put together by actually my Congressman Royce down in Orange County, along with Engel, a Democrat, to go ahead and make a change which would enable half of the food, roughly half the food that is purchased, to be purchased local to the problem area. So you would reduce the shipping costs, and there was pretty nice benefits from it. There were really three main things it would have done. Number one, it would have saved U.S. taxpayers $500 million over 10 years because of shipping cost reduction. Number two, it would have fed 2 to 4 million more people. And number three, it would have taken the cycle time to get those food products to the area of need by 2 months. And you look at those three things and you say, well, this is a no-brainer. Who could possibly vote against this? This is fantastic. And it was an amendment to the Farm Aid, or to the Farm Bill. So the amendment was put up to a vote. This happened just a couple months ago, and it was defeated. It was defeated 220 to 203. So one, that tells you that not even all members of Congress voted on it. They didn't even take the time to vote on it. And we missed it by 9 people. If 9 people had voted differently, we would have had this passed. And I was just flabbergasted how someone could vote against this. And so Clint had a number of his volunteers set up meetings for me, because I had to speak to some of these 220 people to understand. I had to understand what was in their mind. And this is what the Borgen Project volunteers do, is we try to get in front of congressmen and understand their thinking. And I talked to people from all over the country. Some were in heavy agricultural districts, some were in heavy maritime districts. And that's really what it amounted to. If they were in a maritime port district, let's say, like I spoke to one congresswoman in Port Hueneme in California, and she was quite clear. Well, it's because of my fear of what could happen to the maritime business. And she was a new congressperson. She didn't have a lot of knowledge on the subject, and it was obvious that the maritime industry had gotten to her. And then when you share the facts and say that, the State Department is estimating that worst case, maybe 300 jobs could be affected, 300 maritime jobs affected, and it's going to save the country $500 million and feed 2 million more people. I mean, what do you think is more important here? And you can see the wheels go when they say, wow, do you have that in writing? I would like to see that document. Because there's going to be another kick at the can, there's going to be another vote, and our job is to change their opinion by providing the facts and the whole story. On the agricultural side, I spoke to some interesting people on that one, and they didn't all realize that, U.S. exports of food since the year 2000 have tripled. U.S. aid purchases from U.S. farmers account for a little less than 0.5% of their revenue. It's a drop in the bucket. It's not even a drop in the bucket. And the president of the U.S. Farmers Union came out in favor of this bill. And so they're not hearing that from some of the far lobbyists. And so my learning when I left after these 23 meetings was that 4 of the Congress people were saying, I couldn't have voted against this, really? Are you sure? I voted against this. It's right there on the record. You voted against it, and you voted against it 14 days ago, so how you can't even remember that is beyond me. But they're going to think about it next time. And my belief was 7 of them, we had a shot of changing their minds on. What was sad to me, though, is we have a lot of volunteers out there. The organization is about 300 strong right now, which is good. But we need more. We need a volunteer in every congressional district. We need people who can get in front of every one of those congressmen literally here in the next month, because this is going back for another vote. It's being reintroduced with some different language. Unfortunately, they're going to tone it down a little bit, but doing that in order to get it passed and get some of the reforms through at least. But that's what we're doing. So, we really appreciate everyone's support of the Borgen Project by coming to tonight's event, by helping support us financially. We do have expenses in this organization, like Clint says, it's run on a shoestring, but we need to do additional marketing to get people in every single district and to really, help expand this. So, my hat is off to Clint and his team. We're hoping for another 10 years. And there are donation envelopes in your tables, and no pressure, but of course, it does take a little bit to keep this place running. And anything that you can give would be greatly appreciated. And I really thank you all for coming tonight. Bar will be open for a while, and enjoy your evening. Thank you.